The Real Housewives universe has never been short on drama, but every so often, a moment happens that ripples far beyond a single episode. The recent RHONY reunion delivered exactly that kind of shockwave. Jill Zarin walking off the stage instantly became one of those scenes fans replay, dissect, and debate for weeks. Emotions were high, accusations were flying, and long-simmering tensions finally erupted under the bright reunion lights. But as the dust began to settle, an unexpected voice entered the conversation: Brandi Glanville. Yes, that Brandi Glanville. For longtime Bravo viewers, the idea of Brandi stepping in to defend someone, especially someone she hasn't historically been aligned with, raises eyebrows. Brandi has built a reputation on being outspoken, unpredictable, and unapologetically blunt. She's rarely the peacemaker. She's more often the lightning rod. So when she took to social media and publicly defended Jill Zarin after the reunion fallout, fans immediately began asking one big question: was Brandi being sincere? Or was this a strategic move? Let's unpack everything. First, the reunion itself. Reunions are designed to be explosive. Cast members relive the most controversial moments of the season, confront each other face-to-face, and address accusations that have been brewing for months. But this particular reunion escalated quickly. Jill found herself in the hot seat. Multiple castmates challenged her behavior, her intentions, and even her authenticity. At several points, the atmosphere felt less like a discussion and more like an ambush. When Jill ultimately walked off the stage, reactions were split. Some viewers felt she couldn't handle accountability. Others believed she was overwhelmed and unfairly targeted. Social media lit up instantly. Clips circulated. Think pieces appeared. Fans chose sides. Then Brandi entered the chat. On her social media platforms, Brandi described Jill as bullied, and even suggested she had been scapegoated. Those are strong words, especially in the context of Housewives drama, where conflict is practically a job requirement. By framing Jill's experience as bullying, Brandi shifted the narrative from dramatic reunion moment to something more serious. That framing matters. Calling someone bullied implies an imbalance of power. It suggests coordinated targeting. It paints the situation as more than just heated disagreement. It hints at injustice. And labeling Jill a scapegoat goes even further. A scapegoat is someone unfairly blamed for issues that run deeper than one person's actions. Suddenly, the conversation wasn't just about Jill walking off. It was about whether she had been unfairly singled out. The surprising part isn't just what Brandi said, it's who said it. Brandi and Jill don't have a long history of close friendship. They're not known as ride-or-die allies. In fact, Brandi's own Housewives history is filled with moments where she was accused of stirring the pot, escalating conflicts, or clashing with castmates. She has been both villain and victim at different times in her reality TV career. So why step up now? Some fans believe Brandi recognized something familiar in Jill's situation. After all, Brandi has often claimed she was unfairly portrayed or targeted during her time on reality television. She has spoken openly about feeling isolated, ganged up on, or edited in ways she felt were misleading. It's possible she saw parallels between her own experience and what she perceived happening to Jill. If that's the case, her defense could be genuine empathy. Reality TV is a strange ecosystem. Cast members compete for screen time, relevance, and public approval. Alliances shift. Storylines are crafted. Producers make choices that can amplify certain narratives while minimizing others. Someone who has been through that machine might be quick to recognize when another cast member seems to be carrying the weight of a season's drama. But not everyone is buying the sincerity angle. Critics point out that Brandi has, in the past, participated in the very kind of group confrontations she's now condemning. She hasn't always been the voice cautioning against pile-ons. In fact, some fans argue she's been part of them. That's where the accusations of hypocrisy come in. Social media reactions were swift. Some commenters applauded Brandi for speaking up. Others questioned her motives, suggesting she was inserting herself into RHONY drama to stay relevant or to generate headlines. In the world of reality television, attention is currency. Even a well-placed tweet can reignite interest in a former cast member. And let's be honest, Brandi understands the value of staying in the conversation. There's also the possibility that her comments weren't purely about Jill at all. Sometimes when a housewife defends another, it's less about the specific person and more about challenging a broader pattern. If Brandi believes reunions have become overly aggressive or that certain cast members are routinely positioned as villains, her defense could be commentary on the format itself. Still, intent is difficult to prove. We're left interpreting tone, timing, and context. Another layer to consider is how fan culture influences these moments. Housewives fandom is passionate. Viewers analyze body language, edit cuts, facial expressions, everything. When Brandi labeled Jill as bullied, she gave fans new language to frame what they'd watched. Suddenly, rewatching the reunion through that lens might feel different. Was Jill truly overwhelmed? Were multiple cast members speaking over her? Did the host allow enough space for her to explain herself? Or was she simply facing long overdue pushback? Perception is powerful. It's also worth noting that the word bullied carries emotional weight in today's media landscape. It's not a term used lightly. By choosing that word, Brandi elevated the conversation from entertainment drama to something more serious. That move alone ensured her comments would spark debate. And debate they did. Some fans shared clips that appeared to support Brandi's claim, moments where Jill was interrupted or confronted from multiple angles. Others countered with examples of Jill's own confrontational behavior throughout the season, arguing that tough questioning isn't the same as bullying. In reality TV, lines blur. What one viewer sees as accountability, another sees as attack. Brandi's use of scapegoated also adds complexity. That term suggests Jill was carrying the blame for group dysfunction. It implies there were larger dynamics at play that weren't fully addressed. If true, that's significant. If exaggerated, it's strategic. The truth probably lies somewhere in between. Another important factor is timing. Brandi didn't wait weeks to comment. Her reaction came while the reunion was still fresh in viewers' minds. That immediacy makes the defense feel more instinctive. Strategic moves are often carefully planned. Emotional reactions are often immediate. But Brandi is also media savvy. She knows when engagement is highest. She knows when Bravo fans are most active online. It's impossible to separate instinct from awareness entirely. Let's also acknowledge something else. Housewives alumni often comment on current seasons. It's part of the ecosystem. Former cast members weigh in, give opinions, and sometimes support or criticize those currently in the spotlight. It keeps them connected to the franchise and maintains their voice within the Bravo community. So Brandi speaking up isn't unprecedented, it's just unexpected given the specific target of her support. The dynamic between Brandi's public persona and this act of defense is part of why it feels so notable. She has often embraced being the disruptor, so stepping into the role of defender feels like a shift. Whether that shift is growth, strategy, or simply situational is up for interpretation. It's also possible that Brandi genuinely dislikes seeing someone overwhelmed on stage. Reunions can be emotionally intense. The set is designed for confrontation. Cast members are often seated strategically to maximize tension. Old wounds are reopened. It's not a comfortable environment. Even someone known for confrontation might recognize when a situation tips from dramatic to uncomfortable. At the same time, reality TV thrives on big moments. Walk-offs are dramatic gold. Producers know that. Cast members know that. Sometimes walking off can even shift sympathy toward the person who exits. It creates a visual of isolation. It sparks conversation. Was Jill's exit a breaking point, or was it a calculated decision in a high-pressure moment? That question remains central to how fans interpret Brandi's defense. Another element is how audiences project their own experiences onto these scenes. Words like bullying resonate differently depending on personal history. For some viewers, seeing someone confronted by multiple people at once can trigger empathy. For others, it's just part of the format. Brandi tapping into that language amplifies those emotional responses. Then there's the idea of redemption arcs. Reality stars often go through phases. Villain one season, misunderstood the next, redeemed later. By defending Jill, Brandi positions herself as someone advocating for fairness. That can subtly reshape public perception. It doesn't erase her past conflicts, but it adds dimension. On the flip side, critics argue that if Brandi truly believes in standing against bullying, consistency matters. Selectively applying that principle can undermine credibility. That's why some fans are skeptical. But humans are complicated. People evolve. They can see situations differently over time. It's possible Brandi today is not the same Brandi viewers met years ago. We also can't ignore the fact that Housewives drama often transcends city boundaries. Even though Brandi and Jill are associated with different iterations of the franchise, the Bravo universe is interconnected. Cast members attend events together. They share producers. They navigate similar pressures. Solidarity isn't impossible. Another theory circulating among fans is that Brandi may have personal knowledge of behind-the-scenes dynamics. Perhaps she heard something that shaped her perspective, or perhaps she simply recognized patterns from her own experiences. Without insider confirmation, all we have is speculation. What's undeniable is that her comments extended the life of the reunion drama. Instead of the conversation fading after the episode aired, it evolved. It became about fairness, accountability, editing, and cast dynamics. Brandi's involvement added fuel. And in reality TV, fuel keeps the engine running. Interestingly, this situation also highlights how social media has transformed the Housewives landscape. Years ago, reunion episodes aired, and that was largely the end of it. Now, cast members and alumni respond in real time. Fans engage instantly. Narratives shift overnight. Brandi's voice became part of the storyline. Whether genuine or strategic, the impact is the same. People are talking. Another subtle aspect of this situation is how it reframes Jill's narrative. If enough viewers adopt the bullying lens, it could influence how she's perceived moving forward. Sympathy can shift alliances. It can affect casting decisions. It can even alter how future seasons are edited. Words matter. So, was Brandi defending Jill out of empathy? Was she challenging what she saw as unfair treatment? Was she seizing a moment to reinsert herself into Bravo discourse? Or was it some combination of all three? The reality is that motivations are rarely singular. Public figures often act from layered intentions. A comment can be both sincere and self-aware. A defense can be both empathetic and strategically timed. Humans are rarely operating from one simple motive, and perhaps that complexity is fitting for a franchise built on layered personalities and shifting alliances. What this moment ultimately reveals is how invested fans are not just in the drama, but in fairness within the drama. Viewers aren't just watching for arguments. They're analyzing power dynamics, communication styles, and group behavior. Brandi's comments tapped into that deeper engagement. As the RHONY reunion fallout continues to ripple across social platforms, one thing is clear: this wasn't just about a walk-off. It became a conversation about how conflict is handled, how narratives are shaped, and how former cast members influence current storylines. Whether you believe Brandi was genuine or strategic likely depends on how you already see her. If you view her as someone who's been misunderstood, her defense might feel authentic. If you see her as someone who thrives on controversy, it might feel calculated. Either way, she succeeded in one undeniable way: she made people look twice. In the end, the Housewives world operates on perception. Every comment, every walk-off, every tweet becomes part of a larger tapestry. Brandi Glanville stepping in to defend Jill Zarin added another thread: unexpected, controversial, and impossible to ignore. And in the ever-evolving drama of RHONY, that might be the most Housewives outcome of all. Thanks for the watching and subscribe.